Amy and I did this together, and I will not be part of an award that does not recognize the value of her contribution.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the times in The Big Bang Theory when Shelbot showed us that even he has a heart.
Astronaut, Howard Wolowitz.
Number 20. What was in Howard's father's letter? Howard's plan to exploit Sheldon's compulsive neatness backfires after Sheldon finds an old letter while organising the Rosten-Coutsey-Wolowitz's closet.
Now, just a couple more items. Howard, I found this letter from your dad in a box. Now, based on the content, it could either be filed...
You opened this?
Well, I had to find out if it was personal correspondence or memorabilia. Now, as I was saying, based on the content...
I couldn't be less interested.
But he's not the only one to take advantage of Sheldon's quirks, and soon enough, everyone knows its contents, except Howard. To make it up to him, his friends each invent different stories about what the letter might have said, with one of them being true.
I realize if we each present you with an account of what your father wrote to you, only one of which is true, and then we don't tell you which one it is, you will forever be in a state of epistemic ambivalence.
You might not remember that this was actually Sheldon's idea, since he keeps pushing Howard to believing his version, even though it's not only completely implausible, but also totally borrowed from the Goonies. Still, it's a thoughtful plan from Sheldon, and it ends up cheering Howard up.
Which one do you think it is? Matey?
Actually, I don't want to know. I want all of them to be true.
Number 19. Trying not to rock the boat after Penny and Leonard break up. After Leonard and Penny's first breakup, Howard gives Sheldon a crash course in post-breakup etiquette.
In a situation like this, you gotta pick sides. You're either on Team Leonard or Team Penny.
Which one picks last?
But now Sheldon's in a tough spot because he's already made dinner plans with Penny. His attempts to avoid upsetting anyone get a little out of hand. Poor Sheldon. We know how much he hates dogs and loves spaghetti with cut up hot dogs.
Here. I had to trade the others for my life.
Even though he's already had takeout with the guys, he still sits through a second dinner because, well, plans are plans, right?
Do you have stomachache too?
No, why do you?
No.
Why did you ask if I had one too?
Just making polite dinner conversation.
In the end, he had nothing to worry about since Leonard's totally fine with him staying friends with Penny. Still, it's really heartwarming how much effort he puts into keeping everyone happy.
I don't care if you want to be friends with Penny.
Oh. Well, so the emotional turmoil that has been keeping me from achieving REM sleep was entirely unjustified?
Yes.
Number 18. Reconciling with Georgie. We can only imagine that having a brother like Sheldon must feel as challenging as cracking the mysteries of string theory. After Sheldon moved to Pasadena, the brothers pretty much stopped talking, and neither seemed to have fond memories of their shared childhoods.
Look, I always looked out for him at school. I drove him everywhere. I apologized to people when he was rude.
Anyway, Mary refuses to attend Sheldon's wedding until he makes amends with his brother. During a heated heart-to-heart, Sheldon realizes how tough things were for Georgie, especially after their father passed away.
After Dad died, who do you think took care of everything?
Mom did. Mom always took care of everything.
Mom was a mess. Missy was a dumb teenager. I had to look after both of them.
This hits Sheldon hard, and his reaction is genuinely touching. Young Sheldon fans know Georgie often looked out for his little bro, so it's hard not to get a little misty-eyed over their heartfelt reconciliation.
It would mean a lot to me to have my big brother at my wedding.
I wouldn't miss it.
Number 17. Saving Leonard from jail time. In Season 3, we flash back to how Sheldon and Leonard ended up as roommates.
Your ability to perceive their existence is conditional on you passing the second and third barriers.
There's 3?
Each more daunting than the last. Have a seat.
While we're not sure we'll ever understand why Leonard moved in, to begin with, we sure get why he stayed. For one thing, Sheldon's total lack of social skills inadvertently spared him some serious federal prison time.
Turns out she was a North Korean spy. Luckily, Sheldon drove her out before I revealed anything important, which I'm not saying I would have.
Then there was that incident with the elevator. We guess Sheldon figured that trudging up and down several flights of stairs every day was a small price to pay to save his roommate. He barely knew the guy. He didn't have to bail him out. Nevertheless, this moment really cemented the start of a beautiful, if somewhat dysfunctional, friendship.
What'd you do that for? I had plenty of time.
You're welcome.
Number 16. Offering Penny career advice. When Penny decides to quit her job at the Cheesecake Factory to focus on her acting career, Leonard can't stop putting his foot in his mouth.
You got your job back. That is great news. I mean, I didn't want to say anything, but you are making the right choice. But to plunge yourself into debt right now would be literally insane.
Yeah, I'm just returning my uniform.
In fact, he upsets her so much that she ends up turning to Sheldon, of all people, for advice. In his own Sheldonly manner, he reassures Penny that she made the right choice.
The best way to achieve a goal is to devote 100% of your time and energy to it. Now, when I decided I was going to be a physicist, I didn't take some other job in case it didn't work out.
He might not always say the right thing, but this time he nails it, reminding her that while putting all your eggs in one basket might seem risky, there's nothing more fulfilling than chasing your dreams. Leonard could definitely learn a thing or two from Sheldon about being supportive.
Thank you, I needed to hear that. Why can't Leonard understand it?
Because he's not like us, Penny. We're dreamers.
Number 15. Getting Penny to the hospital. Sheldon might be the last person you'd want around when you're in pain, but in this case, he's all Penny's got. For all his shortcomings, he really steps up for her when she falls and hurts her shoulder.
You gotta help me, please.
All right, let it never be said that Sheldon Lee Cooper ignored the pleas of a damsel in distress.
No one's saying that, let's go.
Sheldon helps her out of the tub, gets her dressed, and even drives her to the hospital, despite his fear of driving and the fact he doesn't have a license yet. Sure, his bedside manner leaves a bit to be desired, but when Penny calls him out on it, he genuinely tries to comfort her.
Everything's going to be fine. Sheldon's here.
She even manages to get a round of soft kitty out of him, begrudgingly, but it still counts.
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur.
kitty,
Happy kitty, snoopy kitty, purr, purr, purr.
Number 14. Anytime he offers a hot beverage. It's often said that Sheldon isn't always aware or considerate of other people's feelings. However, he always seems to know when someone could use a hot beverage.
What's that?
Tea. When people are upset, the cultural convention is to bring them hot beverages.
Asking someone if they'd like to talk about what's bothering them or offering words of comfort might not come second nature to him, but this is usually his go-to way of showing that he cares. He's not prone to physical affection, but we're sure one sip of a Sheldon-made drink feels like a warm hug from within.
Tea does sound nice.
You heard the man, Leonard. Yeah, and while you're at it, I'm upset that we have an unannounced house guest, so make me cocoa.
Hey, sometimes people don't want to talk, but even the smallest gesture can make them feel heaps better. It's even sweeter now that we know its origins too.
There was nothing I could do to fix this. Or so I thought.
Can I offer you a hot beverage? That would be nice.
Number 13. Sheldon comforts Amy with soft kitty. While everyone expects Sheldon to be the one to mess up his and Amy's Nobel chances, it's actually Amy who causes a stir.
We're the ones who discovered super asymmetry, so if anyone's gonna feel like they have imposter syndrome, it's us, because we're not imposters. They are! You're imposters and you're frauds!
Not that she didn't have a good reason if you ask us. The university quickly jumps into damage control mode while making Amy feel like she's carrying every woman in STEM, and young girls considering a career in the sciences on her shoulders.
Dr. Fowler, you would be only the 4th woman to win a Nobel Prize in physics. I don't need to tell you just how inspirational that would be to a generation of young women.
Yes, of course, I know.
Soon enough, she cracks under the pressure. Sheldon's first instinct is to run away, and his second is to try distracting her by pretending to freak out himself. In the end, he comes through for her, and it's honestly so adorable our hearts could burst.
Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr.
That helps.
Shh, I'm singing.
Number 12. Amy's birthday dinner. Contrary to what we have seen so far, Sheldon isn't usually considered the most thoughtful person, not even to Amy. So we were pleasantly surprised when he announced his plans to celebrate her birthday.
Why are you smoking meat?
And why are you reading Aquaman?
I am trying to make Amy a historically accurate Little House on the Prairie dinner for her birthday.
If you're a fan of something your loved ones don't get, you can imagine how special it is when they organise an entire evening around it just for you. Sheldon really goes all out to give Amy an authentic experience.
I don't know what you mean by electricity, ma'am. I am just a farmer boy living in a little house on the prairie.
She's so touched that she suggests moving up their annual night of celebratory coitus. Sure, they end up with food poisoning. Turns out modern stomachs can't handle 19th century cooking.
There once was a priest from Terre Haute who purchased a sheep and a goat.
Hold on a second. Is it getting hot in here?
Well, I didn't even get to the dirty part yet.
Still, we're sure Amy appreciated all his efforts once she was feeling better. Number 11. A Satin Alia miracle. For someone who's dead set against gift giving and has even tried to sabotage it, Sheldon is surprisingly good at it.
It's a perfect gift. How are you feeling right now? Guilty? Sad? Wishing you were Jewish?
I love it.
His Christmas present to Amy is super thoughtful, even if by accident. But let's be real, is there a better gift than a hug from Sheldon? Those things are super rare. When Penny gives the guys their holiday presents, she gets an earful from Sheldon in return.
The essence of the custom is that I now have to go out and purchase for you a gift of commensurate value and representing the same perceived level of friendship as that represented by the gift you've given me.
Yet he does genuinely try his hardest to find the ideal gift to reciprocate. However, no amount of fancy bath sets could possibly measure up to the present she gives him.
Live long and prosper, Leonard Nimoy.
He came into the restaurant. Sorry, the napkin's dirty. He wiped his mouth with it.
So there's really only one thing left to do. Talk about a miracle. Indeed.
Leonard, look, Sheldon's hugging me.
It's a Saturnalia miracle.
Number 10. Planning a game night for Bernadette. Sheldon and Bernadette aren't exactly the first Big Bang pairing that springs to mind.
Looks like Saturday night, it's you and me.
Me? How? Why?
Well, it makes perfect sense. Like, because you're an expectant mother, you can't drink alcohol. I don't like to. You can't have sushi. I don't like to.
But when Penny wins a wine tasting experience, they hang out since Bernie's pregnant and can't drink, and Sheldon prefers his grapes in a juice box. He organises a fetus-friendly festival of fun for the expectant mother, including a deep conversation about trains and a detailed exploration of toast.
There's more than one?
You've heard of French toast?
Yeah.
Cinnamon toast?
Yeah.
Melba toast?
Yeah.
You get where I'm going here?
Yeah.
It's not how we'd choose to spend an evening, but it's the thought that counts, and they do end up bonding. Of course, the night's highlight is the Dungeons & Dragons game Sheldon designed especially for his guest.
For example, in this world, only the men get pregnant. So your husband is home trying not to pee when he laughs.
This is getting fun. What's next?
She ends up having more fun than expected and thanks him for the much-needed distraction.
Thank you for this. You know, ever since people found out I'm having a baby, I feel like I became pregnant, Bernadette. It was nice to take a little break tonight.
Number 9. Toasting Leonard's Voyage. Sheldon struggles with varying emotions after Leonard accepts a research position that would take him to the North Sea.
Well, now, do you think that's a good idea? I do. You know Star Trek. Should a guy with no name and a red shirt really go on an expedition?
On the one hand, he's concerned for his buddy. After all, the sea can be rough. However, that's partially just a cover-up for the green-eyed monster that's reared its ugly head.
Oh my God, Sheldon the genius is jealous of Leonard.
I'm not jealous. I'm just very unhappy that good things are happening for him and not happening for me.
Throughout the episode, Sheldon tries varying tactics to talk Leonard out of going until Penny tells him to be more supportive. So, when he gives a toast at Leonard's Bon Voyage party, we expect a tirade of cutting comments and unkind quips. Instead, Sheldon swallows his bitterness to express genuine happiness for his buddy.
To my best friend, Dr. Leonard Hofstadter, he has been presented with a wonderful opportunity, and I couldn't be happier for him.
He keeps it short and sweet, but it's surprisingly heartwarming. Number 8. Sheldon ups his wedding game. Wedding planning puts a strain on Amy and Sheldon's relationship when their rivalry results in the event of no one's dreams.
Maybe we should just get married at City Hall and forget about everything else.
City Hall. I do like metal detectors.
So they decide to bypass all the drama and head down to City Hall. Just as their names get called, Sheldon has a change of heart and expresses his love for Amy in the most Sheldon-like way.
It's like finding dark matter. Except they're looking for dark matter. I wasn't even looking for you. So you're even better than dark matter.
Perhaps it was City Hall's metal detectors that brought out his romantic side, but his loving words to Amy make us melt.
When you make a discovery like this, you don't just take it down to City Hall. You tell the whole world. And so I'll say it in Latin or Klingon.
A few episodes later, he gives Amy the compliment he didn't know she needed when he sees her in her wedding dress. And his vows on the big day are beautiful.
Even if I can't tell you now how I feel, I will spend my life showing you how much I love you.
We're not crying. You are. Number 7. Sticking up for his bestie. This quirky genius might be the most selfish, arrogant, and frustrating roommate, but there's no denying his love for Leonard.
Fine. You unlucky little leprechaun.
He's a hobbit. I got your back.
Since the first episode, it's been clear that he will always have his back. We've seen him stand by him during confrontations with Penny's ex-boyfriend Kurt more than once.
Sheldon, I am so sorry I dragged you through this.
It's okay. It wasn't my first pantsing, and it won't be my last.
He was also in Lenny's corner when his rude and obnoxious high school tormentor dropped by.
You're a terrible person who took advantage of his tiny size, his uncoordinated nature, and his congenital lack of masculinity.
Sheldon.
Leonard, I platonically love you, man, but face it, you're a mess.
It shows a lot of dedication and courage to stick by his friends when faced with such physically challenging threats. He's also protective of Leonard's feelings. Well, he can be. When he worries that Penny might break his heart again, he pleads with her not to hurt his best friend.
Penny,
What?
please don't hurt my friend.
That is the last thing I want to do.
Thank you.
Number 6. Loaning Penny money. Dr. Cooper has many annoying qualities, but stinginess isn't among them.
Take some. Pay me back when you can.
Wow, you got a lot of money in there.
That's why it's guarded by snakes. Take some.
When Penny shares her financial woes with him, he offers to help her out, no strings attached. He lets her take as much as she needs and doesn't set a deadline by which she must pay him back.
I'll pay you back as soon as I can.
Of course you will. It's impossible to pay me back sooner than you can. Assuming you subscribe to a linear understanding of time and causality.
Penny's super grateful to him, but tensions rise when she starts to feel the pressure of her debt. Sheldon misinterprets her reaction and innocently questions if he didn't give her enough.
You lent her money?
She needed money. You seem under pressure. Did I not lend you a sufficient amount? Because I can give you more.
Oh, you would just love that, wouldn't you?
Poor Sheldon. He was genuinely trying to be helpful, and his intentions were good, so her anger confuses him. Luckily, Leonard steps in to explain that this really is one of Sheldon's best qualities.
You do understand that Sheldon really doesn't care when he gets the money back. It's actually one of the few idiosyncrasies that doesn't make you want to, kill him.
What a sweetheart. Number 5. Keeping Leonard's secrets. Various. Among the many things that Sheldon Cooper dislikes, lying and secrecy rank pretty high.
First of all, your lie was laughably transparent, where mine is exquisitely convoluted.
While you were sleeping, I was weaving an unravelable web.
Yet he's willing to do both for Leonard. Whether he's weaving an unravelable tale to help him save face with Penny, or fabricating an Irish love interest to cover up his secret relationship with Priya.
And if anyone were to actually call that number, they will hear this.
Top of the morning to you. You've reached Maggie McGarry.
He's even gone to extreme lengths when he's unable to keep a secret from Leonard. As we saw earlier, Sheldon also saved Leonard from revealing classified secrets to a spy and blowing up their apartment.
Luckily, Sheldon drove her out before I revealed anything important, which I'm not saying I would have.
So, that's it? You stayed with Sheldon all this time because he kept you from going to federal prison?
Those are pretty big secrets. Like we said before, since they weren't yet friends, he wasn't obliged to keep them. Yet for years he did, proving that Sheldon can be a gold star friend.
Not only did Sheldon save my life, he didn't rat me out to the landlord, or the police, or Homeland Security.
Number 4. Setting up a scholarship fund for Howard and Bernadette's child. The guys hit a roadblock while trying to patent their infinite persistence gyroscope. The trio takes matters into their own hands to ensure everyone gets their fair share of the profits.
Guys would be cool doing it like that?
Of course. Split any profits 3 ways.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, great.
It sounds like a contract might be in order.
Understandably, Bernadette is a little apprehensive about her husband signing a contract drafted by a man who consistently belittles his career, and she makes some pretty compelling points.
Tried to work with him before, hasn't gone well. Why is this time going to be any different?
Is the fetus helping you? Because that's cheating.
After some discussion, Penny suggests they add a clause that obligates Sheldon to be more respectful of his friend. Sure, he had to be told to play nice, but no one told him to make those additional changes on page 6.
25% of profits due to Sheldon Cooper will be allocated to a scholarship fund for the firstborn child of Howard and Bernadette Wallowitz. Sheldon, that's so nice.
It ends up being a backhanded compliment, but the good intention and generosity were there. Number 3. Refusing to betray Amy for a Nobel Prize. Finally, Sheldon's on the path to his lifelong dream of winning a Nobel Prize. It couldn't be any better.
You weren't even thinking about super asymmetry?
Thinking about it? We don't even understand it. And now look at the 4 of us, changing the face of physics.
He did it with his soulmate by his side, and their theory was proven by a couple of physicists from Chicago. Yes, it seems like Sheldon's about to get everything he's ever wanted, but then Doctors Pemberton and Campbell drop a major bombshell.
The 3 physicists should be the ones to win the Nobel Prize for physics.
Wait, so you want to cut Amy out?
No, of course not.
We don't want to, but we're going to.
As much as Sheldon would love to win a Nobel Prize, he loves Amy even more. So when faced with deciding between the two, it's a no-brainer.
This has been your lifelong dream, and you may not get another chance. I don't want to be the reason that you don't win a Nobel.
You're the only reason I deserve one.
Sheldon's no romance ninja, but this is arguably one of the most romantic and sweetest things he's ever done. Do they give out Nobels for being the cutest?
Amy and I did this together, and I will not be part of an award that does not recognize the value of her contributions. So, you either include both of us in the recommendation letter, or don't bother writing one.
Number 2. His Nobel Prize acceptance speech. It's no secret that Sheldon could be a pretty awful friend. By the series finale, he's pretty much alienated everyone.
They're abandoning us because you broke their hearts.
I didn't mean to.
I know! You never mean to!
But after an emotional heart-to-heart with Amy, he abandons his pre-prepared egotistical Nobel acceptance speech and speaks straight from the heart. He dedicates his success to his family and friends, finally showing them the gratitude they deserve.
I have been encouraged, sustained, inspired, and tolerated, not only by my wife, but by the greatest group of friends anyone ever had.
Who doesn't well up when Sheldon acknowledges the role his loved ones played in his accomplishments? And when he asks each of his friends to stand, we're a complete mess.
He said to me that their babies would be smart and beautiful. And now that they're expecting, I have no doubt that that will be the case.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Making Amy his emergency contact. This is basically Sheldon's way of telling Amy that she's the one.
Well, I thought if I have a stroke or a kidney stone, who would I want to share that with?
And you picked me.
Giving Howard his spot. Sheldon proves how truly sorry he is. It doesn't last long, but hey, it's the thought that counts, right?
You love that spot.
No, I love my mother. My feelings for my spot are much greater.
Comforting Leonard. He might be a rookie, but Sheldon can tell when his bestie needs a shoulder to lean on.
Just remember, Leonard, where your biological family has failed you, you always have me, your surrogate family.
Blowing his game for Wheaton's Meemaw. Sheldon's love for his Meemaw extinguishes his thirst for revenge. Too bad Wheaton was just messing with him.
I came here to defeat Will Wheaton, the man who destroyed my dreams. But I can't defeat Will Wheaton, the man who loved his Meemaw.
Teaming up with Schrodinger to play matchmaker to Penny and Leonard. Without Sheldon and Schrodinger's cat, who knows where Leonard and Penny would be today.
Just like Schrodinger's cat, your potential relationship with Leonard right now can be thought of as both good and bad. It is only by opening the box that you'll find out which it is.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Consoling Howard after his mum dies. Throughout this episode, Sheldon's being his typical self-centered and annoying self. He's mad at Amy for collaborating with Kripke, so Penny tries to teach him how to let go of his anger.
Now open your hand and let it go.
But I just got this pen. Well, it's got my initials on it and everything. Look.
During the healing process, he annoys Penny by revealing that Amy's been testing her intelligence. By the end of the episode, almost everyone's at odds, but then Howard receives some heartbreaking news.
That was my aunt. Ma took a nap. She never woke up.
Everyone's at a loss for words, except, of course, Sheldon. However, rather than say something insensitive and inappropriate, as we all expected, his words are heartfelt and comforting.
When I lost my own father, I didn't have any friends to help me through it. You do.
And in a way, he's also telling his friends how much he values them. Sheldon doesn't often do sympathy, so when he does, it's always a welcome surprise. Which one of Sheldon's kind actions hit you in the feels? Let us know in the comments.
Thank you, Sheldon. You're a good friend.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.